Hey there, Caleb Wojcik of DIY Video Guy here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the Canon 80D, the new medium-sized DSLR that they just announced yesterday, versus the Canon 70D, which has been out for a while and has become kind of a staple of what YouTubers are using to do their talking head videos or to vlog. And so in this video I'm going to be talking about the differences between the two, so you can decide whether or not it makes sense to pay a little bit more and get the 80D or to stick with the 70D. So let's get started. Available towards the end of March 2016, the 80D is going to have some upgrades over the 70D, the first of which being that it can shoot 60 frames per second in 1080p versus the 70D only shoots it in 720p. Also, you're getting 4 more megapixels. If you're going from the 70D to the 80D, it's going up to 24.2 megapixels when you're taking stills, and you're not going to get 4K video in this line of Canon cameras yet. This is the 60D. This shot 1080p like 4 years ago, and the 80D is still not giving you 4K quite yet. So if you really want 4K, probably gonna have to go with another brand for now, or jump up to the XC10 from Canon, which is about $2,000. To breeze through a few more of the new features, it has a new battery, but the batteries are backwards compatible. They basically just put an N at the end of the LPE6 batteries so that they'll last a little bit longer with some new technology there. Also, the headphone jack has been added, and the headphone and microphone jacks are also angled, so when you tilt the screen out, it doesn't get blocked as quickly. And then you have other features like you have an extra custom setting on the mode dial, so on the top here, instead of just one custom setting, you'll actually have 2. For some more stills settings, you actually get more autofocus points, so it's jumping from 19 to 45, which is an added bonus. So if you are doing photography and you need to be able to have it pick a lot of different points, if you're taking photos of action or things moving, it'll be helpful to have all those extra focus points. Then there is continuous autofocus in live view mode. So if you are not using the eyepiece, but you actually have your stills through the live view on the back, you can continuously autofocus, which before you could only do that through the eyepiece on the 70D. The 70D added Wi-Fi on top of the 60D, the one I have here, but now the 80D also has near frequency communication, or NFC. So if you have a device like a phone or something like that where you can just put the camera up to it and transfer photos, that's another way that you can do so. Or you can still use Wi-Fi to get the photos to a computer or to a phone or tablet. The big jump going from 60D to 70D was a lot of autofocus features, specifically in video mode, so the face tracking and things like that. And the 80D also brings those back, so you can touch on the screen and change focus between different things in the frame, which is really, really helpful. The built-in microphone is actually brought back to the front. It was placed on top here in the 70D for some reason, so it's back towards the front like it is on the 60D. In the 80D, you have a maximum higher ISO, so you're gonna get a little bit better low light performance, or at least the ability to shoot more stuff in low light, even if there is a lot of noise. And then they announced 3 new pieces of equipment. They announced a new kit lens that has a nano USM autofocus system. So it's really, really fast at autofocusing compared to the 18-135 kit lens that came with the camera before it. So if you're just able to afford the camera body and one lens, then you'll have better autofocus ability with that lens. Now, an accessory that they just announced as well is the PZE1 power zoom adapter. And this thing sits on the bottom of your camera underneath the lens, and you can use a motorized zoom feature instead of having to hand change the zoom, and it makes it really smooth looking. And you can also change the speed so it zooms slower or faster. And I don't really ever zoom while I'm recording. I rarely do that. Maybe I've done it maybe 10 times, but for certain types of things, if something's happening and you need to zoom in on it, it's gonna be better if it's a little bit smoother. So that is about $150. And then this next thing really surprised me. You get a shotgun microphone from Canon, which I don't know if they've ever made microphones other than the ones that come in their cameras, but this is actually a shotgun microphone that you can put on top in a hot or cold shoe, plug it in through the microphone jack on a DSLR, and it's about $250. That's the DM-E1 shotgun microphone from Canon. Now the zoom adapter and the shotgun microphone are separate, so that's additional money you're gonna have to spend. But at a little over $1,000 for the 80D, you are getting some upgraded features. If you need the slow-mo, if you want more autofocus points, if you want this new lens, there aren't that many new changes to the 80D over the 70D though. There are a bunch of things that, in my opinion, are missing that should be added, and I'm not sure why they're not. 4K video. Most of Canon's competition around this $1,000 price range have 4K video now from Panasonic, Sony, other companies. You don't have any flat picture profiles, so you're not going to get Canon log on this if you're going to want to use this and then grade it with cinematic color correcting or grading later. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get focus peaking. You're not going to get zebra exposure warnings to know when you have your highlights blown out. You're not going to get a clean HDMI output from this where you could then record the signal on an external recorder without the interface and everything else in there. So this is still just what I would consider not entry level, because it's not in the T series or in the Rebel series. So it's in the mid-range DSLRs, and you actually do get some new features from the 70D, but I'm thinking if you're saving hundreds of dollars to go 70D versus 80D, you probably don't need to upgrade to 80D unless you want the extra focus points, the slow-mo, maybe you really want that headphone jack. Those would be reasons that I would upgrade, but at that point, you're going to be able to save a few $100s probably to get a 70D secondhand or just a new one that's been on the market for a while, and put that money into lenses or audio or lighting or some other grouping. So that's my recommendation and comparison of the new Canon 80D that they just announced and the Canon 70D. I'm biased towards video. Stills wise, it's a little bit better with more megapixels and autofocus points, but hope you figured out which one you're in the market for, or maybe it convinced you to go somewhere else and get some 4K or some other more dedicated video features like peaking and zebras and things like that. So I've been Caleb Wojcik of DIY Video Guy, and I'll see you in another one. Thanks so much for watching this video. You can click like below or comment on this video to let us know what you think, as well as subscribing to the YouTube channel to learn more about how to make better videos. You can also check out our gear playlist where we do reviews of video, audio, and lighting equipment, as well as unboxings. And to check out our full review of the Canon C100 Mark II, one of their entry-level cinema cameras, you can click right